Good morning. It is Friday, February 12th. All I've really had the energy to do this week in the evenings is some mending. So I've done that. And I was real excited that I'd be able to do some sewing this weekend. But I don't know how much of that's gonna happen because, yeah, you can see the bruising there. I tripped over a cardboard box last night and I landed with the entire weight of my body on my pinky. So I'm gonna tape it up because that's what you do with a broken finger and a broken toe is you make it immobile, you ice it, you elevate it, you wait for it to heal. But I'm right-handed. So this is gonna be an interesting weekend. Good morning, happy Saturday. It is Saturday, March 13th. It is the 1-year anniversary of the last day that I was in school at the end of last year. So, I thought I would hop on and show you what I decided to work on because my finger is still bruised and sore. It's getting better. I can bend it more now. But yesterday I decided I probably shouldn't cut stuff, which meant no short stays because those pieces aren't cut out yet. That's actually the first thing on the list to do is to cut the coutil and the linen. But I did have this project that was all cut out and started. So I laid these out yesterday. I had Zach double check them last night and today I'm going to start sewing them together. I am making these are extra squares from a commission, but these are the squares that we decided not to use, so I am sewing these together to make a rag quilt to list in the shop. So that is what I am working on. So that should let my finger heal before I start trying to cut things because I'm right-handed, so this action is probably going to exacerbate that. Yeah, so that's what I am working on today. Not typical project for me lately, but you know, here we are. Hello! It is Sunday, it's not February. It is Sunday, March 21st, and I have had this project laid out on my table and not sewn together, only partially sewn together for a week now. And Zach and I are getting real sick of not having workspace. Because once I laid it out, I have to sew it together before I can do anything with it. So I'm almost done with that. But then I'm hoping I can at least get this all sewn together and moved into the living room so that I can use the table to cut out my half stays. This is the linen. This is a scrap cut off of a dress that I shortened for a friend of mine who bought a maxi dress and didn't want a maxi dress. So I told her I'd do it for free as long as I got to keep the linen. And my leftover coutil so that the linen will go on the inside because it's nice and soft and antimicrobial, and linen's just great as a thing to be up against your skin. But then the coutil is the structured bit and that'll be on the outside. So that's the plan. Hopefully I get to that today so that we can get this shindig rolling because next week is spring break. And I would like to have the stays done so that I can work on the mock-up for the dress and the dress. So that is the plan. I'm going to try to knock this out as fast as possible, and I will let you know if I am successful in doing that later today. Good evening. It is 9:30. I've got about 30 minutes left before I need to go to bed today. It's still Sunday, March 21st. But I have finished piecing together the rag quilt. It's in the other room, waiting to get ragged. I will do that at a later time, when I have something entertaining to watch. I have seam ripped the bottom bit of the linen, I pulled out the hem, and I pulled out, I can't remember if it was the front or the back seam. Actually, this was the hem, and this was the seam that I pulled out, so that I can put this on the fold and cut it out. But I discovered something interesting when I was pulling this apart, and that is that, I don't know if you can tell, there are pieces of this fabric that are white. And I had always wondered, how is it that these manufacturers get thread to match their garments so well? Well, on this one at least, it looks like they didn't. It looks like they sewed a bunch of linen dresses together in white, because the thread was white. Where these white bits are, the thread that was there was also white. So it looks like they sewed a bunch of white linen dresses and then separated them out and dyed them in different colorways. So your thread matches perfectly because it's being dyed in the same batch at the same time as your fabric. So that was interesting to discover. I wonder how much manufacturing happens that way. Just tangentially curious. But this is pressed and ready to have everything cut out, as is the couture. I'm gonna unearth my pattern pieces from the pile that's over there, and then I am going to trace and cut out the pattern pieces is the goal for tonight. Definitely the couture, maybe the linen. This linen is very loosely woven. Very loosely woven. So I don't know. Definitely at least transfer the pattern markings to the linen. I'm going to start with the couture though, and look at the instructions and see if I do both layers, the lining and the stiffening fabric for the gusset, or just one. Anyway, that's where we are. It is about 20 after 10 now, and I have all of the stay pattern pieces. I have all of them cut out of the couture and the linen, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay them all out in the order that they're going to get sewn, like I did with the corset, and then I will flatline them, and as I flatline them, I am going to put them back in their spot, in their order, so that I know that I'm doing this properly and I don't do it incorrectly. Because this whole like non-pattern fabric is the same on both sides, is real confusing sometimes. I did have to, or I haven't done it yet, I am going to have to piece the straps because there was not enough fabric. Bit that I cut off of that dress was not long enough to do the straps quite, and I didn't pin this piece down because I forgot that I was gonna need to have them pinned down to flatline them. So yeah, I'm gonna lay these out and then I'm gonna go to bed. If I have the energy at the end of the day tomorrow, then I will come in here and flatline them and then edge finish them on Tuesday. Because if I can flatline them on Monday, edge finish them on Tuesday, and then do boning channels on Wednesday, then I can assemble, and this should be done so that I can be doing bodice mock-ups for the dress over the weekend, which would be really nice, because yeah, and I can cross off 2 things off my list, so I'm gonna take you with me to do that. All right, here we go. I have cut the couture and cut the linen. Hooray! Next step is interline. Oh yeah, I have to do the bust gussets. All right, now this is better. Okay, so we've cut the couture, we've cut the linen. I need to interline them, and then I need to edge finish them. And then I can do the bust gussets and the boning channels and whatever I'm doing as an alternative to the busk. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in the busk channel or something similar, and I'm just going to use the paint stick. What the pattern calls for is steel boning, but I would like this to be machine washable because the goal of this is to be a history bounding outfit and for this to be for daily wear. And then I have to assemble it and do the eyelets and the binding. And that's where I'm going to leave it tonight. I will see you tomorrow. Today is Monday. It is 20 after 10. I'm getting ready to go to bed, but I wanted to hop on and show you that I did finish flatlining all of my pieces. This, in true to form, this linen is very wibbly wobbly, as you can see with this piece that I haven't trimmed yet. Like, there's all kinds of craziness going on, but I pieced the straps. This one is pieced up here. The other one is pieced there, but you know, piecing is period, and I was working with what I had. So all the pieces are flatlined. Tomorrow the task is to edge finish all of the pieces, and if I get through that tomorrow, I will be happy, because that means that Wednesday morning I can set up the bust gusset situation before I start working, and then I can be hand sewing the bust gussets during my meetings on Wednesday. And then Wednesday evening, if I haven't finished the bust gussets, I'll finish those and then do the boning channels Wednesday. And then I will sort out what I'm doing on Thursday with the busk situation in the front. And then Friday I can put everything together, like the 1, 2, 3, 4 seams. So the 4 actual seams together, and do the eyelets. And then Saturday maybe I can bind them. That'd be nice, because then, you know, because next week is spring break, as I said. Because then Sunday I can do the mock-up for the bodice for the Regency dress. For the record, I have flipped my pieces over, so this is the inside that goes against my skin, and then this is the outside. I am going to need to get the pattern pieces back out and mark the things that are needed. I'm not going to mark eyelets placement, because I think I am going to make those boning channels bigger, because I think I'm going to use my fat zip ties instead of getting steel boning, because again, I want this to be able to go in the washing machine, because I want it for daily wear. So they're flipped over so the inside is facing up, so I can mark on this side. It's going to have to go in the wash anyway, but let's come mark things off the list. Interlining is done. Hooray! And the peasants rejoiced. Good morning. It's Wednesday, March 24th. I just wanted to hop on because this has been bothering me. So this piece has a wrinkle in it because linen is super wrinkly. I have very limited experience working with it, but it seems as though as soon as you look at it, it wrinkles. But there's, as a result of this wrinkle, a bubble in my flat lining. And so I'm going to pick this seam out and iron it and re-sew that top seam. Hopefully not wrinkly. You can see a shadow. I don't know if it'll pick up on camera because the light's coming in a different direction, but you can see a shadow of the wrinkle. So I'm gonna pick that out while I wait for my tea, and I will check in if I'm able to get anything else done during my My meeting. It is 4 o'clock and it's time for me to go pick up Emma, but I wanted to check in with what I was able to get done. I was able to get all of the pieces edge finished, and it says to just edge finish them everywhere except on the top and the bottom. So all the gussets are edge finished and all the pieces are edge finished. I have also stitched the stay stitching where the gussets are going to go, the bust gussets. So then the next step is to do boning channels and gussets. I can do either one at this point. It's easier, I think, to do them while nothing is attached when they're this small. Like this is not even as long as my hand. But I've also, this is the back strip where the lacing panel is going to be. I have also I've pressed this over, and I've got my zip tie that's going to function as the boning channel. I'm going to switch over to the zipper foot, and I'm going to insert this in, I'm going to do this one-handed. Insert this in here, and just use the zipper foot to stitch right along the edge there to create the boning channel. And then I'm going to stitch this edge down and do that again, and then just use whatever space is left in here for a lacing panel. And then this is out because this needs to get cut down because I have this for a busk casing. I know the busk is supposed to go all the way down, but I am going to see what happens if I try to put in cut down busk substitute, if it gives the right shape, boob shape. And then I can wear it with the busk in or not. So if I'm going for a more history-bounding, historically inspired sports bra situation, then I can leave the busk out, so it'll look less weird with modern clothes. Or I can put the busk in and have it be a Regency corset or Regency stays. So I think next task is going to be boning channels, and then I will figure out the busk situation and or do the bust gussets. But we can come over here. And I have edge finished. Hooray! Yeah, so I'm contemplating hand sewing eyelets. I also have some that I can use that are left over. I do need to order lacing technically, but that's where we are. I'm gonna go pick up Emma and I will check in tonight if I'm able to get anything done. It is about 8 o'clock. I have a lovely glass of wine. Because quarantine. And I am about to practice some sewing self-care here this evening. Yeah, so I'm gonna stitch the boning channels and then figure out the bust gusset situation. Or not the bust gusset, the busk situation. And then I will do the bust gussets. I've reached the point where the next step is to insert the bust gussets, and I am trying to decide what I'm doing. I've inserted the busk pocket hoopty. I need to put eyelets in there. I'm gonna attempt hand-sewn eyelets, because if I'm ever gonna try them, this would be the place, because on the inside of underwear, literally no one's gonna see. That's done. Bone casing is sewn on. It's white on white. Can't really see it. There we go. Maybe. Yeah. And bone casings are sewn in the back. on either side of the lacing strip. That's done. Once I do the gussets, I need to stitch it together. Top stitch the seams to make more bone casings. Insert the boning and then do the binding. And eyelets. So this is coming together pretty quickly. The part that took the longest was the flatlining and edge finishing, which you're basically doing the same thing twice over because you're going around each piece. Ooh, can you see that? I don't know. You're going around each piece with a straight stitch right on the very edge and then a zigzag stitch. So you're doing the same thing twice. But yeah. I'm gonna hand sew the bust gussets. I'm gonna go sit on the couch and do that. I'm gonna slit these. I'm gonna hand sew some eyelets here for the drawstring to go through so it can close this, because I am gonna need a drawstring across the top based on the mock-up because holy bust gussets, Batman. Yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do. It's Wednesday. I keep forgetting it's Wednesday. I don't know what my deal is, but yeah, soon this will be done. I think we can spend Sunday doing the mock-up. Okay, so I'm about to go to bed, but I wanted to show you I have one side of the gussets in almost all the way. I did a whip stitch, and now I'm going in and I'm doing a back stitch, and then on the inside I'm gonna probably fold this over so the linen stops doing what it's doing, and do a hand felling stitch there. Is it going to take a really long time? Yeah. However, it's not going to fray. It's going to be really durable, and I'm going to be able to machine wash it with impunity. Like, it'll be fine. However, in what is apparently becoming a theme, I bled on it. I jabbed the ham sandwich out of my thumb, scraped it, and I bled on it. But fortunately, I have marked all over this with chalk already, so I am fully anticipating needing to machine wash this before it gets any kind of wear. I'm almost done. I've done the back stitch on this side all the way to like here. I need to finish doing that. I ran out of thread. And then I'll go around the other one, and then I will do this side. And then I'll just do the felling all at once. But this linen is fraying like crazy. Even with the zigzag stitching on there, just because this is the layer that's going to be getting the most friction, I am gonna fold it under and finish those edges. It'll also add some more structure to the bust portion. It'll be fine. If I can finish them tomorrow, that would be amazing, because then, and then assembly. Happy Saturday and happy spring break. It's finally here. I wanted to check in. It's about 5 p.m. I've been working mostly on hand sewing. I felled the edges because the linen was fraying a lot, so I just rolled that under and felled it down on both sides. And then I was doing it, so I figured I'd go ahead and do that on these back panels where the lacing is gonna go. And now I'm waiting on the iron to heat up, and I am going to press all the seam allowances down, stitch the bone casings as instructed by the pattern, and then I will roll under and fill the stitches. That is the plan. And then I'm going to hand sew some eyelets in here, and on the straps, insert the boning, figure out how to cut down the busk, and then I'm just waiting on binding. I'm so close. I'm going to put a drawstring in the top. We're close. This should be done this evening, but this should be done soon. And I think the iron should be heated up now, so I can press my seams and start stitching. There's a storm coming, and I'd like to get as much of the machine sewing done as possible, just in case we lose power. Because then I can be hand sewing by flashlight or candlelight, just like in ye olde times. So, boning is all cut to size, it's inserted. I put in the busk. And now it's time to do eyelets and binding. I'm gonna hand sew the eyelets, so I'll do that later. But I'm gonna attach the binding on the bottom, and I'm just gonna do it following the instructions. Okay, binding is on the bottom. And while I was putting the binding on the bottom, I discovered I forgot to put boning in the only actual boning channel that isn't seam allowance. So I'm going to do that now. So I just finished pinning the binding on the top edge, and holy pins, Batman. Now the hope is that I can do this and not bleed on it again. I did want to show how this part's going to work. The instructions are to put a slice in the center front and then stitch it back together, leaving a gap in your stitching where you backstitch, and you can't see it right now, so it'll fold over to be on the inside, so that you can feed the drawstring through that hole at the end, which is actually brilliant. I haven't decided what I'm using for that yet. I'm gonna go procrastinate sewing this and look for ribbon. I'm not sure how I did this. So the directions say that you're gonna put your ribbon in your binding, and you're gonna pin it, and you're gonna sew it really carefully so that you don't catch the ribbon and the drawstring functions. That's the ribbon stitched down, on both sides. So I'm gonna have to pull the whole thing out and redo it. And that is not happening today. I'm not even pulling out the seam tonight, and this will be future me's problem. I was hoping I could get it done tonight. I did choose the green ribbon because it was the appropriate width. I have an off-white ribbon that I'm going to use for the lacing in the back, but otherwise all of the binding is on. The only part of the binding that needs to come out is this center boob holding section. It needs to come out because of the drawstring. So I need to fix that. I need to do eyelets, and then we're done. If I can get the eyelets in, it's wearable, so I can fit the mock-up. That would be nice. I would like to have that done tomorrow. But we can go cross things off the list before bed. Busk gussets are in. Boning channels are sewn. The busk alternative is taken care of. It is assembled. I'm not going to cross off binding because that's not really done. I'm not going to cross off eyelets because I haven't started those. I am actually just going to erase order lacing because I don't need to do that. Hooray! It is Sunday. We have relocated to the living room. This is my hand sewing chair in front of the open window, getting some lovely natural light from both sides. But I wanted to show you what I'm working on. I'm going to attempt to do this in a way that makes sense. I unpicked the stitching and restitched it by hand, so now the drawstrings function. Hooray! And I am working on eyelets. So I'm going to, I don't know that this is the right way to do this, but I'm going to show you what I am doing. I have continued the thread. I did this one, and I just moved the thread through the fabric down to here, and now I'm going to do a running stitch around. I'm going to attempt to do this on screen. I'm going to adjust this slightly. Alright, so now I've gone around. I'm going to use my new awl to reopen that hole. And now I'm going to do a buttonhole stitch. Again, I learned this from YouTube, so, and a book. So I don't know if I'm doing it properly, but here we are. Three. I have 2 more to do on this side, and then these. And if these look weird, it's because I'm attempting spiral lacing, and this is the pattern that I found online. So I've got those eyelets to do. I've got eyelets up top here to do, eyelets on here to do. So I'm going to be here for a while. That is the goal, is to do those, because then it's functional. I can put the eyelets in to hold the busk in place later, but I need something so that I can fit the bodice mock-up. But yeah, I'm gonna go sew. It's on, and I think it gives me the adequate Regency shape. You're on Daisy right now. Gives me the adequate shape, the lift. It doesn't give me as much separate as I had hoped because the busk doesn't have anything to push against to get leverage. You can see, like, I could probably pull the drawstring tighter, but this is a more modern shape. Anyway, this is super comfortable. I'm actually gonna throw my t-shirt on, probably, or maybe a dress so I can wear my shift, and wear this to the grocery store as a, like, trial run. Can I function in this? Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah. Tonight, bodice mock-up. I almost forgot the complete satisfaction. It's done. And now, ta-da! Not sure about petticoat, need go thrifting. The dress is next. It occurs to me that this is the end of this video, so I should probably actually film an outro. If you enjoyed my progress with this project and you'd like to see more, the actual dress that goes over the top of it, hit the subscribe button, like this video, leave a comment down below. Let me know what was a project that you thought would be easy but ended up really not being easy. I hand sewed all of the eyelets on this. This is functionally a wearable mock-up, and I hand sewed all of the eyelets. There's something wrong with me. So down below, tell me what was a project that you thought would be easy but took a lot longer, or you thought would take a really long time and didn't take you very long at all. And I will see you next time with the mock-up of the dress that goes over this. Have a good day, guys.